Minecraft, the block game to beat the other block game as the best-selling game ever, and with new underground environments, blueberry forests, pillagers, zombies, but not really. It's sometimes hard to remember that once upon a time it was this. And yet, as soon as you hear a few notes of Sweden or Clark or Mice on Venus, you get flooded with that bittersweet cocktail of pleasant memories from bygone years that we call nostalgia. Now, I play the Erhu, and if there's anything that I've learned while playing this instrument, it's that it can bring out soulful, heart-wrenching music when done right. Whether that be Oogway Ascends from Kung Fu Panda or the credits music from Legend of Korra, the Erhu, while not as well known as the violin or piano, can pack a punch in the emotional department. So with that, can an Erhu be used to boost this bittersweet nostalgia that we find in Minecraft music? I suppose like a lot of things in Minecraft, it's the journey that really tells a story, so let's go and punch that first tree. The first thing I set off to do was to gather those first few resources, in my case additional knowledge on the music of Minecraft's early days, the tracks that I could draw inspiration from, why this sort of music was nostalgic in the first place. From what I've seen, it seems that the creator behind these music tracks, Daniel Rosenfeld, otherwise known as C418, went and crafted his music to encompass different aspects of how it feels to play Minecraft. Whether it be the melancholic loneliness of a single-player world or the vast endlessness of Minecraft's world generation, one can be reminded of a certain story, a certain journey from their Minecraft days when listening to these tracks. I see that a lot of these first tracks are sparse in terms of accompaniment. Also, although the tracks from the later Volume Beta have percussion, the first album Volume Alpha has little to none, so percussion will likely be a big no-no if we want to maximize the nostalgic punch. That should be okay. I mean, I'm most definitely used to not using percussion in accompaniment. And lastly, if I want to craft something that still contains the nostalgia of the original Minecraft tracks, I should make sure to stick closely to its roots. A diamond pickaxe uses diamonds, stone bricks come from stone, and bone meal comes from bone. Just like these end products, I should be able to easily see the origins of the end product. But now, which specific tracks should I use as my crafting ingredients? I went through the tracks again to see what stuck out to me the most. My personal favorite ended up being Mice on Venus, so that was one of the first I decided on. Living Mice also seemed to have a slightly more upbeat flavor of nostalgia, so I decided to use both of the mice-related tracks. What else? Oh, Minecraft, but it's everywhere at the end of time. Wonder what that is. Sweden. We're using Sweden. A quick browse through Musescore, and I was able to find the MIDI files I was looking for. I also lucked out with auto-translating it into numerical music notation. It was time to start practicing these emotional boulders. Alright, let's get going. Although I knew that the tracks I picked would have high emotional difficulty, I still ended up underestimating just how much I would be in for when trying to practice these pieces. Technically, these pieces are a breeze. D key and C key I can handle pretty well, but as for how much thought you have to put in each longbow, the infinite permutations of vibrato and slides and bow changes that you have to choose from to get just the right emotional nice edge of nostalgia, that got mentally tiring fast. So what can I do to better practice the phrasing? How can I more quickly see when to put in vibrato, when to slide, how fast vibrato, when to change bows, all of that? And that's when I remembered an age-old method of music. Singing. Don't worry, I won't subject you to my attempts at singing. I'm pretty sure that would count as cruel and unusual punishment, and I don't want to get in trouble with the law. But while I practice here, let me go ahead and explain why I'm going through all this trouble torturing my vocal cords in the first place. When I was a few years into practicing Erhu, I needed to improve on phrasing and dynamics, which is when my teacher introduced me to singing. The idea is that you sing the tune that you're trying to play, paying special attention to what notes you emphasize, where you're ending your phrases, when you crescendo, decrescendo, all of that. Then, once you sing it a few times, you're able to internalize that ebb and flow and subconsciously add it to your playing style. Oh, and don't mind the squares and squiggles I've been drawing this whole time. I just needed some way of keeping track of why I wanted to sing certain parts. It most definitely is not a runic spell specially crafted to summon Herobrine. Definitely not. Definitely not. Alright, time for round 2. Okay. Channel Minecraft Nostalgia. Okay. It was a new metaphorical Minecraft day, but if anything, it seemed like I had somehow gotten mining fatigue. I knew how I wanted to play it, how I wanted to feel while playing it, but I still hadn't quite internalized all the little quirks and characteristics of each phrase. Every accent and vibrato was something that I had to consciously think about, and I ended up taking a break after only half an hour. This is how it went for the next 12 days. It almost became a vicious cycle where the more I tried to think about every nuance that I wanted in the end product, the farther away I got from achieving that natural zen that the sort of musical story begs for. And it was while taking a tea break that I realized that in a way, stressing over not being able to grind fast enough to get to my goal essentially missed the point. Yes, there is stress in trying to build a shelter before that first nightfall, making sure that you can make a bed, all of that. But in the large scheme of things, there's no rush to defeat the Ender Dragon. You can take a detour farming, or exploring a desert temple, or running away from a skeleton on half a heart. And it's that childlike appreciation for doing nothing that I think these music tracks by C418 have truly been able to capture. So in the spirit of remembering the advantages of just doing nothing, I'm just gonna add a little section here for a nice, deep breath. Alright, there is no hurry. Not while we are in this world. So, little by little, let's get to mining these 3 blocks of obsidian. And with some transitions and accompaniment embellishments, I think we have ourselves an Erhu Minecraft track with as much nostalgic enchantment as I could muster. True to that sense of enjoying doing nothing, this medley of tracks ended up becoming much longer than I originally planned, and I did consider shortening it, but at the end of the day, that would have defeated the purpose of this whole experiment, this quest for regaining a glimpse of one's more relaxed days via nostalgia. So, can the Erhu do Minecraft nostalgia justice? I'll go ahead and let you listen for yourself. Feel free to close your eyes and just take some breaths while you listen. Let your mind wander around for a bit in this hectic time, and I'll see you on the other side. So, as I've liked doing after going through these sorts of musical experiments in the past, what have I learned? What are things that I can take from here to make the soul of the Erhu that much more versatile and moving? I suppose one big thing I learned was that I do indeed have a hard time just simply sitting still. Not in the physical sense, I'm pretty much on some sort of chair or bed all day. I mean mentally, especially when I have a whole storm of things that I know need getting done. Ironically, having to continually practice and improve my version of these calm, nostalgic Minecraft tracks gave me increased pressure and an increasingly frantic subconscious mind. It wasn't until I really sat down with a good cup of tea and just let my mind wander around that I was able to calm down, to realize that sometimes one doesn't have to always be working to be efficient. By simply stepping back and letting my mind calm down for a good 5-10 minutes, I was able to act more efficiently and improve more in less time. Perhaps it's that part of the emotional spectrum that I can continue practicing on Erhu. The Erhu is an instrument of emotions, and it seems right to continue practicing every single one. For now though, I hope you enjoyed hearing my take of Minecraft nostalgia on Erhu. If you want more Erhu goodness, I'll go ahead and link a video where I looked at a very different side of the Erhu by playing the musical meme Rush E. With that, I will see you in another video, and I hope you're well, wherever you are. Bye!